Welcome back to Crisco's Corner, unfiltered commentary, not your truth, the real truth. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi, folks. Welcome back. From Fox News. You're going to love this one. Here's the question before I start this. Well, let me read the headline first. Liberal activist claims she eagerly sterilized herself because of the debate over abortion as a no-brainer. Getting my fallopian tubes removed means I will never have to go through pregnancy against my will. Now, is this an extreme case? Kind of. But the philosophy and the mentality isn't. How do you deal with these batshit crazy people? How do you do it? And they're in positions of authority and or influence on millions of others. This is what happens. This is the price we pay for allowing the universities to take over their progressive leftist view and have been for the last 30, 40 years. Now, they've always been left, but never this bad. And conservative people, especially people in authority or influence, have allowed it to happen. And now here we are. This woman is nuts. I think this is mental illness. But she's applauded and cheered in the liberal progressive mind. Let's read on. A liberal activist cited the political football surrounding abortion as the reason she eagerly chose to be sterilized at the age of 24. I'm sure her parents are really impressed. What about her boyfriend and or future husband if she has one? She says her pronouns are he, she. I looked it up, so I don't think she's gay. What about her future? What about her future partner? Are they going to adopt instead? It's just nuts. In a Monday op-ed published by NBC News, well, big shocker, reproductive and sexual health activist Alexandria Ionatos detailed how she was thrilled, mind you, with her decision because it meant she would never have to go through a forced pregnancy and that watching politicians play with women's bodies made the decision a no-brainer for her. You have a brain, young lady, and it's not functioning properly. Nobody is forcing you to go through a pregnancy, just like nobody forced you to get pregnant. That's the killer part. I'll take away all my personal responsibility for getting pregnant. It's amazing to me. You can just be irresponsible as you want. Well, if you get pregnant by a man and it was just a casual fling, then maybe you ought to reconsider how you're leading your life. I'm not telling you don't have sex. Just be a little bit more responsible. And maybe choose your partners a little better. Because this man isn't good enough to have a future with as parents, then maybe you shouldn't be sleeping with them. Maybe I'm an idiot. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. In November, I went under the knife for a bilateral salpinectomy, if I'm pronouncing that right, the removal of both my fallopian tubes at 24 years old. The procedure is permanent, irreversible. And she knows this going in and applauds it. And more than 99% effective in preventing pregnancy, she said. She expected to be met with disregard because she was young and unmarried, but was surprisingly simple given information on the procedure and left her make her own decision. Well, they call that a mental health interjection. Everyone seeking access to reproductive health care deserves an affirming experience like mine. So I'm sure that the thousands of dollars that it cost, God knows what insurance company, probably taxpayer funded, paid for this. It's amazing to me. Absolutely astounding. seeking reproductive health care. That's an oxymoron in itself. Having abortion is not reproductive health care. It reproduces nothing. Delivery, gynecologist, pediatricians, that's reproductive health care, you idiot. But the leaked Supreme Court opinion draft that would overturn Roe v. Wade could prevent conversations like this from happening. Conversations, I'm 24 years old in perfect health. I want to take away my fallopian tube so I can never, ever get pregnant again. That's a conversation you want to have? She said, referencing the Supreme Court draft leaked to Politico last week, hinting at a potential overturning of Roe v. Wade. Now, she did this, but long before the leak in November of last year, the leak on the draft decision of Roe v. Wade. It's bad law. It is not going to ban abortion. Quit lying. She detailed growing up in Indiana, a state with stricter laws pertaining to abortion, and how it shaped her views on the issue, including attempting to occupy a 16-year-old friend to have an abortion, accompany, I should say, a 16-year-old friend to have an abortion, but being turned away without parental consent. Because she's a minor. She's a minor. I live in New York State, upstate, not New York City. I'm sure that 16-year-old would have had the abortion without her parents' even knowledge, let alone approval. She railed against abstinence-only school instruction. That I have to go along with. I mean, we were all young. It's almost impossible, especially today. And I'm not advocating for, how these teenagers are going around having sex with each other willy-nilly. It's not what I mean. Abstinence only, might have worked in the old days, but even still. And state-level bills restricting abortions across the U.S. and claim lawmakers are trying to exert power by legislating who gives birth and who doesn't. No, they're not. Don't get pregnant. That 16-year-old friend of yours, you didn't teach her or have you much of a friend? Come on, give me a break. In this day and age, unless it's forced upon you, there's absolutely zero excuse for anybody to get pregnant when they don't want to be. It's incredibly rare. Incredibly rare. There's a tug of war between politicians who run on platforms to restrict access to reproductive health services. That's not reproductive. Reproductive means you produce. This produces nothing. And then respond by taking their health into their own hands. Wow, what a brave young lady. Wow, what courage. You're an idiot. I was among the thousands of people who rushed to get an IUD in the wake of Donald Trump's election. Having lived under Mike Pence as governor, I knew that he and his supporters would stop at nothing to gut access to reproductive care. Again, it's not reproductive care. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I mean, look at this. I was among the thousands, actually millions, of people who rushed to get an IUD in the wake of Donald Trump's election, which means you were irresponsible before that. Donald Trump didn't make you irresponsible. If you don't want to get pregnant, then don't. It's amazing to me. She described her experience with contraceptives, including birth control medication and IUDs, and she said she experienced excruciating pain equivalent to a contraction in her effort to avoid becoming pregnant after going to her first IUD appointment. 4 years and 2 IUDs later, I eagerly chose to pursue sterilization, and I'm thrilled with my decision. This may sound unchristian or mean. Maybe you're better off not having to have your DNA cut off right here. Because maybe the mental illness you have is hereditary. It's insane. Getting my fallopian tubes removed means I will never have to go through pregnancy against my will. Nobody's forcing you to go through pregnancy. Millions of others will not be able to say the same, as the Supreme Court appears ready to strike down Roe v. Wade. Growing up witnessing the political football lawmakers play with our bodies and the devastating impact it has on people's lives made sterilization a no-brainer for me. Your brain is not functioning correctly. People are entitled to the care that's best for them. Abortion, contraception, and sexual health services are key components. Contraception and sexual health services, I agree with. Abortion should not be a form of birth control. Unbelievable. And if she has a partner, I wonder what the hell he thinks. He must be really impressed with her. And if he is, there's something wrong with him too. Or any future partners she have, or any chance at marriage. It's incredible to me. Absolutely incredible. And these are not isolated incidents. Maybe going through it just dramatically with the fallopian tubes being removed. Yes, that's probably is a very small percent. But the mental faculties that believe in this nonsense, that you're going to be forced to be pregnant against your will when it was your will to get pregnant, which takes away responsibility, personal responsibility, and how you act and interact with other people, in this case, getting pregnant. It's incredible to me. It's incredible to me that she's not an isolated case in the mindset that personal responsibility doesn't count anymore. Doesn't count anymore. It's crazy. And there's millions and millions of young women just like her that have that same type of attitude mentally. We're in a lot of trouble, folks. We're in a world of shit. I hate to be so graphic and so, uncensored, but this story just got to me. It really did. And these people are slowly but surely, as people like myself, baby boomers, are slowly dying out and will eventually be gone. These people will be in positions of authority and control. God help us all. Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.